Hi, this is Lucy, your clarity coach, and this is Tuesday Talks at 3. Welcome to the Time series episode. It is the month of July, and what an opportune time to do this. In this specific series, I'm going to endeavor to help you to learn strategies that are going to help you prioritize your tasks, set goals, and manage time efficiently so that you can achieve your personal and your professional goals. We all want that. There's going to be 5 episodes to this time series. And these 5 episodes are going to be about urgency and importance. That's what we're going to cover today. Differentiating the difference. How do I then prioritize what is urgent and what is important? I do hope I can get that message across to you today. The second one we're going to be looking at is goal mastery. That's the second episode. And in goal mastery, it's about you understanding what you need to do so that you can start setting your goals. I mean, yes, from a dream to a goal, it's easy to have it theoretically, but then how are you going to apply it and make it effective and run with it? Then we move on to the blocking series. I mean, I am a key fan of blocking out time to do certain things. And this is something that I am happy to share with you, my own personal experiences, how I have done this, tried and tested. I mean, I'm not just picking it up from a book. I'm not picking it up from somebody else's story. I'm not picking it up from ChatGPT. I'm picking it up from my own personal experience, the different things that I have done that have worked. That's going to be our third episode. The third episode is on blocking time. Then we move on to procrastination. And if you've been following me, you will know that I speak about my procrastination and how it has brought me down to the point now I've been able to repurpose my procrastination and being able to turn it around, change that narrative to be able to give me productivity and efficiency. I know you'd like to know more about that. Well, that is going to be our 4th episode. Now, our 5th episode is going to be all about mastering your schedule. You must have a schedule. I'll take you back to your school days. During your school days, you knew what was happening when. And year 1, year 2, year 3, until you finished school, there was always a schedule. And then there was a schedule within a schedule. And this helped you to achieve your schooling. It brought order to what it was you're doing. So we want to pick those best practices and bring them into our personal and professional lives. Well, like I said, July marks the middle of the year. And what an opportune time it is for us to be able to measure and monitor what we've been doing for the entire 6 months that have just gone by. Isn't it so good to look back and say, this is what I endeavored to do? So I succeeded by what percentage? I failed by what percentage? What then can I do now moving forward? I've got the rest of the year to course correct. I've got the rest of the year to further advance my successes. It's really up to you what you do with this. Or you have the other option of saying, I'm not good at this. I cannot do this. I'm throwing it out of the window. I'm throwing in the towel. There's that bit also. But I'm here to encourage you that you are not alone. Many of us have not done what we set out to do in the beginning of the year. But there are other things we have done. We want to sit down and measure and monitor and be able to move forward, advance, so that when we finish this year strong with lessons learned. We finish this year strong with successes, and successes in our personal and our professional lives. So the question that we're asking today, because remember, we're here to be talking about urgency versus importance, and I'm saying that it is not urgent, it is important. It's the important things in life that we need to be able to address, those important things, because they're a slow burn. The urgency happens here and it's gone. But if you take care of the important, you actually bring down the urgent things in your life. You dial it down, these urgent things in your life. Suddenly you don't have crises, you don't have fires burning left, right, and center. And you end up being busy being a firefighter than actually somebody who's executing a vision. Yeah, I don't know whether that makes sense for you. Well, if it does, please drop it here in the thread for me and just say to me what it is you think about urgency versus importance. And as you're doing that, I want us to explore one tried and tested tool that I continue to use today. And I'm happy to share it with you. It's a tried and tested tool that has taken me out of areas where I really did not know how to move forward, areas of being overwhelmed, areas of having such high expectations placed on me from the external and from internal. I'm that kind of person. I place some very high expectations on myself. So the question today is, how do we differentiate between urgent and important tasks? Because we are human and this will be happening to us all the time. We'll be having urgent, we'll be having important tasks, but being able to differentiate it will help us. Well, the tool, if you have never heard of this and you're hearing it for the first time, just drop it there in the chat that you're hearing it for the first time. It's called the Eisenhower Matrix. The Eisenhower Matrix has got 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is do. You know, it's just talking about the important and urgent aspects in your life. Just do it, the things that you need to do. Then there's the things that you need to schedule. It guides you. You know, the Eisenhower Matrix is an amazing guide, has really worked for me. It schedules you to look at the important but not urgent. And then the third quadrant is all about delegating. In delegating, it is not an important task, but it is urgent. And therefore, you know what to do, delegate. And then the last one is delete, delete, delete. And I think for the last, shall I say, 5 years now, I have been deleting things from my schedule. Things that I had attached sentiment to them. Things that was so... I beg your pardon, so hard for me to let go. That letting go gracefully is something that I do so easily today because of the Eisenhower Matrix, that last quadrant. That delete are things that are not important and they're not urgent. They actually do not add value in your life. If you take time to reflect and look at the things that are making you busy being busy, if you took time using this Eisenhower Matrix. Of course, if you want to know more, just direct message me and I have an entire program on the Eisenhower Matrix that I can take you through. But for the sake of our session today on Tuesday Talks at 3, where we're talking about the art of urgency, I'm just going to be sharing with you that in the issue of deleting, look at things that are not important and things that are not urgent. They have no business being on your schedule. They have no business being on your to-do list if you do compile a to-do list. So how does this tool, the Eisenhower Matrix, help you to prioritize tasks? Because then you need to know the difference. Today's question is, how do we differentiate between urgent and important tasks? That's the question that we are seeking to answer today. But then a follow-up question would be, how does this tool, the Eisenhower Matrix, how does this tool help in prioritizing tasks? Well, I've just given you the answer. It's putting things into those 4 quadrants that are going to help you. You want to listen to the replay of this session for you to understand those 4 quadrants and what it is that you would be able to play around with to suit you. Because what is important to you may be urgent to me. And what is important to me may be urgent to you. Simply put, so this is about you, your personal life, your professional life. What do you need to plug in where, when, to make it work for you? We're looking at productivity. We're looking at positive output. We're looking at efficiency. We're looking at effectiveness for you. You are the center person. So I don't encourage you to say, but Lucy does this and this is what works for her. What I'm doing today is sharing with you what works for me. So find what works for you. Test it. If it doesn't, move on to the next tool, because one size rarely fits all. Well, maybe in this session it may fit all, but rarely does that happen. In fact, the folly is because so-and-so is doing this, I want to do it. No, you want to take the learnings from what this person is sharing with you and apply where applicable in your life. Okay, well, let's look at how this tool can help you to prioritize tasks. And let's just look at an example of your personal life in this moment. Using this matrix will help you to decide whether to whether to attend maybe a fitness class, whether to attend a fitness class, which is part of your program for your vision board for this year, 2024, against attending to a non-urgent email. And why do I say a non-urgent email? Because the slow burn is what we're looking for. So in the slow burn, we're looking at something that's important in my life that I have already set out to do. Therefore, I can say no to other things. When I'm clear about what I want, when I'm clear about my vision, it's easy for me to say no, and it's easy for me to prioritize. So an email comes in, you have no business, according to your plan, and this is yours. I'm not talking about mine, I'm just talking in general. Do you know what you want? So maybe one of your decisions is, when it comes to emails, I will only be reading my emails at a certain time. And therefore, the choice to go for your fitness class trumps that email anytime. But it could also be the other way around. Maybe the email is what is important for you. Maybe this is where your bread and butter is, and it's a Monday, or it's a Tuesday, or it's a Wednesday. And you say to yourself, my fitness class will be at 5 a.m. or it'll be at 9 o'clock in the evening. So in between, I have planned to look at my email. See? It actually works different for different people, but you need to understand what you want. You need to understand what you... Hi, Sylvia, great to see you here. So when we look at our professional scenario, that was personal. We're looking at an email and we're looking at your fitness class. In your professional scenario, I'll give you an example of prioritizing a project proposal, which is important. You're prioritizing it on your to-do list against an urgent routine report. An urgent routine report can be done anytime. But here is somebody who needs you to complete a proposal, which is time bound. Maybe that is what you can decide that is important or urgent. Or maybe it's the other way around. All I'm saying is that you need to figure out you first. You need to figure out the things that make you tick, the things that motivate you, that wake you up every day to come to work. And at the back of your mind, you are thinking about, I'm not here to be busy being busy. I'm here to be busy advancing my vision, busy advancing my mission, and therefore busy advancing the tasks attached to the vision, the mission. This is what is so important, because at the end of the day, this is your life. And if you spend time living somebody else's life, so Lucy has a game plan and you jump onto my proverbial wagon, I get what I want to have done. But what about you? I can guarantee you, towards the end of your life, you will be a very bitter person, because you'll be looking at Lucy and saying, how come she got to do what she wanted to do, and yet we were together in the same room? Well, guess what? Lucy had a vision. Lucy had a mission. Lucy had tasks, and Lucy was differentiating between important and urgent tasks, and she was executing accordingly. So what's your plan? We still keep on asking the question, how do we differentiate between urgent and important tasks? It's a personal decision, but it can only be made in the face of you understanding your vision and your mission. So the tool Eisenhower Matrix does wonders for me. It has worked so well for me. And I'd love to hear from you guys. What tool have you used to help you prioritize your tasks? What has worked for you? For me, the Eisenhower Matrix continues to be a very good tool for me, until it is not. But right now, it's a very good tool for me. So moving on then, I would want to ask, why is it crucial then to differentiate? Why is it crucial then to differentiate? I know it sounds like a crazy question, but stop for a moment and just think about it. Important things, urgent things exist in our lives. We wake up and things are put upon us, or happenstance happens, or distraction happens, and we have a choice of whether to address or not to address. And this is where the important versus the urgent comes in. Well, to answer that question in short and without going too much into it, we must differentiate the important and the urgency, because it prevents time wastage. It prevents time wastage. You only have 24 hours. I don't know anybody else who's got more than 24 hours. We can try and stretch and bend and extend the 24 hours, but we have to work within it. So being able to differentiate helps you to use your time efficiently and effectively. Let's look at another personal scenario. In this case, you choose to work on a long-term financial plan. This is very important because this maps out your life. This advances your vision and your mission. So it may, instead of addressing a non-urgent text on your phone. But then we can turn this around. Maybe you're like me, who needs to always be on her phone because this is how clients get through to me. This is how I am available to clients. So if I'm not in my sessions, that is my coaching sessions, if I'm not in my training sessions, if I'm not in my mentorship sessions, even now if I'm not on Tuesday Talks at 3, occasionally, you'll see me moving things up here because I'm getting the calls coming in, I'm getting messages coming in because I'm available to my clients on this number, on this phone. So this may be important for me, but maybe not important for you. If this is not the place where you make yourself available, maybe you're an in-person. Well, there I go again. I'm just removing all the messages from my screen and just disconnecting calls because this is where I'm available. So maybe this is important for me. What is it for you? Let me give you another example. If we look from a professional point, when you focus on strategic planning, this is important when you focus on strategic planning because it maps out your life moving forward in your professional life, whether it is about you planning strategically how you're going to get more clients, strategically how you're going to increase your products or your services, strategically how you're going to grow on your social media or your digital marketing platform. This could be what is important to you, but on the other hand, it may be important for somebody to work on something else or urgent for somebody to deal with a crisis. I hope I am making sense and I'd love to hear from you guys. The question today is, how do we differentiate between urgent and important? And I'm sharing the one tool that works so well for me, continues to work so well for me. You need to look it up. It's called the Eisenhower Matrix. It has 4 quadrants. So using this matrix for prioritization on what is urgent and pressing helps us to have a long-term sustainability. It helps you. You'll actually find, in the beginning I struggled with it because I didn't know what went into which quadrant and I got lost. I think I had learnt about it and I was too excited to put it to test. And I hadn't understood the nuances of the difference in scheduling and in delegating or in doing. But today I do it without thinking. And I'd love for you to read it and see what it is like and hear back from you how it worked for you. But the important thing, and I know you're going to ask me this, is then how do I apply this matrix? It's so easy to populate. We can populate anything. But then how do we execute? How do we apply it in the execution? Let's talk about managers. Let's talk about leaders. Let's talk about the workplace. And yes, today is a school holiday, so you can hear all the children shouting in the background. How can managers effectively implement the use of this matrix? And I would say, in short, it's about evaluating your daily tasks and understanding what they mean for you in the grand picture, in the grand scheme of things. That means you have to draw up your daily tasks. Now remember where we started. There has to be a vision, there has to be a mission, and now we're talking about daily tasks. For you to be able to apply, it's got to be real. It cannot just be theoretical. So in this moment, do you have a vision? In this moment, does that vision have a mission? Because the mission is the driver. It's how you're going to get to that vision. Now just pause there for a moment because I need that to sink in for you. It is only thereafter when you can come out with a task and say, every day I'm going to do A, B, C, D at a certain time of the day. I'm going to allocate a few hours on this. And if this happens, I'm pushing it to the end of the week. or it's what I'm going to do beginning of the week. But you're not able to do this if you've not planned yourself. So focusing on important tasks for long-term success is what will help you populate these 4 quadrants. If you're not able to populate these 4 quadrants, then you need to go back to the beginning and figure out, what is my dream? How then do I turn this dream into a goal? This is where my vision now starts to take form. So focus on your important tasks in the long term. These are the ones that are the slow burn and are going to keep you relevant and sustainable. I know you know that anything that is urgent serves the moment now. And once we've done it, at times there's a high we are left at, and then we can't do anything about it. We can't seem to find the energy to go back to important. So how about concentrating on the important? And anything that you think is urgent, dealing with it accordingly. So, how do we differentiate between urgent and important tasks? Prioritize effectively by distinguishing the important tasks in your life to enhance your productivity, your impact, your efficiency, your effectiveness. That's the end goal. So let me just walk you through this Eisenhower matrix before we sign off, because we are coming to the end of our session now. In the first quadrant, it is important and urgent. This is something that you do. This is something that has clear guidelines, clear objectives. Think about it right now. The thing that you're doing right now, here and now, listening to me doing this, is it important and urgent in your large scheme of things? Is self-improvement something that you have put down as a game plan? Or can you listen to my replay by scheduling it? Because when you schedule something, it moves into the next quadrant of it is important but not urgent. So it's a need to know. You're scheduling it into another compartment in terms that you can be able to use it for advancing your life in the long run. But you don't need to do it right now. You don't need to get up and do something. So right now, listening to Tuesday Talks at 3, thank you for coming here. But you don't need to be here right now because I save this on my YouTube channel. So you can always schedule to listen to my YouTube channel as you're walking, you're cooking, as you're running, as you're taking a moment just to exhale, because it's just 30 minutes of your time. So that's the second quadrant. The third quadrant is delegate, and this took me so many years to master. Delegating means it is a task that is important. It is not important, I beg your pardon. It does not need you to do. So figure it out and give it to somebody else to do. In fact, for the years that I worked in the corporate world, you found that the bosses at times got so stressed towards the end of the month because of end month reporting. And that pressure then was pushed onto the frontliners and to the direct reports. And it's not helping anybody to have this. If as a manager and a leader, you figure out what is important, everything else will fall into place. So whatever it is that is important, create the tasks, delegate in good time, and you will not be running at the end of the month trying to put in your end month report. And that is what is key. But what happens? We all have this urgency at the 11th hour. We stress our members of staff. They do not perform. And then we end up sending them to appraisals saying that they do not live up to the KPIs or to the tasks. How about looking inward first? What do you need to do differently? Well, today I'm saying to you, figure out the important tasks. Work on them earlier on with your team. Avoid the last minute rush and just watch how your team rises up with all their talents and their skills and the reasons why you hired them in the first place to be able to advance the agenda of the company, yours or somebody else's. So delegate, delegate, delegate. And last but not least, delete. Now, this is the one where I needed grace to delete because I was one of those people who was busy being busy all the time, busy being busy because I was doing things, because my peers were doing things, because I was expected to do things. I was attending courses because I thought it was cool. And it was using up time that I could be moving to the first quadrant, which is do. It was using up time for the important and urgent things in my life going together. And instead, I was now living in this quadrant of not important, not urgent. So guess what? I was beginning to wonder, why are people passing me so fast? My peers are doing things, realizing their purpose, living their purpose, and I wasn't. And you want to follow me on Instagram right here and listen to some of my reels where I talk candidly about how self-awareness was not a common thing for me. I only came to realize that I was living according to other people's plans. I was living according to what society expected me to do, and I was not meeting my full potential. Well, it is my hope that this has helped you understand the difference between... It's very noisy today. We have the children at home and we gotta love them. They're enjoying this break. Well, the takeaways that I have for you are to be able to start appreciating the art of urgency versus importance, especially knowing that differentiating being the first takeaway is important. It helps you to understand where you should be and what you should be doing. So go with your vision, mission, fact. Go with your dream, your vision, your mission, and your task, and differentiate them. And then prioritize those action plans. What is it that needs to be done here and now? What can be scheduled? What can be delegated? And perhaps what can be deleted? And then you're on the right path. And then now focus. Wherever it is that you focus on, your energy flows. Never forget that. What you focus on, your energy flows. So if you focus on tasks that are going to bring you down, guess what? Your energy is just going to be sucked down. If you focus on tasks that are building you, uplifting you, fulfilling you, guess what? That's where your energy is going. So something very simple for you. Thank you so much. It was William Penn who said, time is what we want most, but what we use worst. Time is what we want most, but what we use worst. May the Eisenhower Matrix be part of your art of urgency artillery box. So important for you to have this, especially now that we're hitting halfway of the year, where we are able to monitor and evaluate, reflect on how far we've come, the promises that we made, that we actually achieved, the ones that we didn't. Where are we now? What can we do with what we have in our hands? It's never a lost cause. It's just a matter of reframing your mindset. So the recording of this episode will be up and running on our YouTube channel by this evening, lmcconsultancy.com. Again, you just think about it. Is it urgent? Is it important? It's up to you. It's your life. You've got to figure out you and do you. So hit the subscribe button when you're there, the notification button, so that you can have updates on our sessions. Our social media platforms continue to update, inspire, and educate. You can find me here on Instagram as Lucy_, your clarity coach, or you can find me also on Facebook under the same handle. You can find me on LinkedIn as Lucy Macridis, on TikTok as Clarity Coach Lucy. Well, season 2, Episode 2 of my podcast, Skillful She, is out. My daughter and I talk about conflict resolution. And with what is happening in my country today, in my country, Kenya, what an opportune time for you to listen to this 5-minute podcast. If you would like to listen to it, just drop me a direct message and I will share with you the link with gladness. So we are looking at our next episode as we move forward into July. Remember, it's going to be all about goal mastery. Let us help build one another. And until then, be kind to yourselves. Bye-bye now.